What is up, everybody? Welcome to the 9th race of the National Rock Racing Association. This is our last and final regular season race before our finals coming up. We're out here at Pineville, Missouri with Rush Springs Off-Road Park. We're super excited to be here. Again, today is Saturday. We have Big Rock Bouncers coming. We have the Bounty Series. We have our Youth and Amateur. We have a limited and unlimited class. We are so excited to be here, and we are pumped. Welcome, everybody, for joining us.
What's up, guys? I'm Bree Molitor. I've got Matt Holt that you just heard here, and we are going to throw it over to Zach to get things started here with the National Anthem.
Welcome. National Rock Racing here at Rush Springs Ranch. Big shout out to Rush for having us. We're going to put on a good show with a lot of wrecks. We're going to kick it off the right way, the best way. World famous recording artist Steve Allen is breaking it down and going to sing the national anthem for us. Rise to your feet, remove your hat, show your respect for the great country, and listen to this man. He is awesome.
We're going to hand it back over to Matt for our opening prayer, so please keep your hats off. Matt's going to say our opening prayer.
All right, guys, let's pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you today and we just say thank you for the many freedoms that we enjoy in our great country. We thank you for the opportunity and the blessing of being able to come out here and enjoy your creation and enjoy this sport and our time together. Pray that you would put angels in this place to protect everybody, keep your hand of safety upon us, and bless our time together today. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, guys, that's the way to get the day started. I don't know about y'all, but I am feeling ready for a day of racing now. Like Matt said, we are at Rush Springs Ranch here in Pineville, Missouri. It is day 2 of racing for round 9 of the National Rock Racing Association. So the season is winding down. Like you said, this is our last regular race before we head into finals, and we do have a lot of racing happening today. So I hope you guys are able to stay tuned for most or all of that here with us on Hillside Live. We want to say welcome and thank you to everyone tuning in, our online audience on the Rock Racing TV YouTube channel, and to our television audience joining us on Power Sports World. Hope you guys enjoy this fun day of racing.
Yeah, it's going to be a great day. Again, we had the water truck out this morning, kind of trying to knock the dust down the best we can. So I think today is going to be a really awesome day out here. It is a little bit warmer than I think we had that kind of false fall you talked about yesterday.
Yep.
And that kind of came in cool. We were like ready for our cool weather, 65 and sunny. Today it's back up to like mid-90s.
Not happening today.
That's
okay.
Yeah, gets a little warm when you got that race suit on, that helmet. You know, it's designed to keep fire and heat out. Downside, it also keeps heat in, so they get really warm. So you're not going to see guys walk around those fire suits like maybe in the colder weather, but definitely going to be a great day of racing. I see we have tons of side-by-sides pouring in here, a bunch of them down this morning, guys walking the course. We had our drivers meeting about 9 o'clock this morning in Central Standard Time, so super excited. It's going to be a great day of racing. I think the hills behind us are course 1. I don't think it's going to be super difficult. We had quite a few guys playing out last night. Hill 2, I think it's going to be a little bit more challenging, but we'll see what the day holds.
Yeah, well, exactly. We'll see what it holds. We watched some great racing yesterday from our UTV stock and our UTV Cup classes. They did a great job out here in the dust and everything else. One of the great things about this park that if you missed yesterday's action, we were talking about it, but of course bring back up again today, is the short course.
Yeah.
It is unique to this park here at Rush Springs Ranch. There aren't any others that we are racing at least for this season, that have that short course like that we can include in the course. And it's always fun to be able to change things up, keep the drivers on their toes. You know, we've got the hill behind us. We've got a woods section. We've got the rock pile coming right out the starting line. And then, of course, the short course. A little bit of everything today. We are going to be starting with UTV Bounty. We've got our bouncers, limited bouncers, UTV Teen, and the youth class all racing today. And, of course, everyone does 2 courses.
Yeah.
So it's a full jam-packed day of racing.
Yeah, and again, that short course we were just talking about, again, I've seen a lot of guys push real hard on the side-by-sides. I think the bouncer guys are going to try to push even harder. We have a couple of newer guys that are either new to the buggy or it's a brand-new buggy. So I think we're going to see that unveil some things, and guys might push a little too hard, but I think quite a few guys have raced. We've raced here before. Quite a few guys have got some laps in on that short course, kind of knowing where the bigger jumps are, where the smaller jumps are, where they can really push hard and get out there and have some fun with it. So I am super excited to see that short course. And again, I enjoy the short course, kind of getting out there and letting the buggy just let it eat and getting out there, rip and have some high speeds. Kind of let that that wind blow your hair. So it's a good time. So we'll see how that folds out. But I think it's going to be a fun day.
Did you do some pre-running last night?
I did. There was a handful of us down here last night. I basically completed course 1, came down, did the hard section, went and did the course. It's a lot of fun. It's very loose. It's very steep and it's very loose. So it's kind of like being on marbles on roller skates.
A lot of gravelly rock out here.
You're going to have to really keep a lot of momentum, or have a lot of horsepower. So, I think you're going to have to see guys keep that momentum. So we saw that in the side-by-sides yesterday where guys were just wide open throttle all the way to the top, just never lifting. And that's exactly what I think we're going to see today.
Well, let's go ahead and take a quick look at our points for coming into this weekend for our UTV Bounty class. Casey Howell is leading the pack with 599 points, and followed by Nathaniel Bell with 563. Austin Tidwell rounding out the top 3.
Yeah, and then Madison King coming in 4th again. She's our girl racer that holds it down out here. And then Ethan Hunt coming in 5th place. I know he's had a few other stunt doubles for him this series, so we'll see how that goes. Again, I know we have some Clay Casons racing for him later on today. All right. Looks like we got Casey Howell not starting Raceland starting gate.
All right, here we go with Casey Howell, first driver of the day here at Rush Springs Ranch. He is already over the SCS stone pile and heading for the hill.
Again, there was a couple flags out there. Clyde went out and made some changes this morning. Kind of gave driver a few options of where to go. And then obviously this is a very wide hill, so you have a lot of options as far as where you're going to go up. But you can see him kind of drift off to that right. Now he's into that kind of loose section. You're going to have to see guys kind of carry a little momentum into that. Nice little access road they built for us. And then just, as Bree would say, it's all downhill from here. Couple little ledges there. Now headed into that short course we had talked about. Has a kind of a high bank turn. A lot of guys having a lot of fun with that this weekend.
This is a really fun course out here. We've had some this season that are extra challenging. A lot of carnage. West Virginia comes to mind.
Yeah.
Even at Hawk Pride a couple weekends ago, those parks that have a lot more rock in them, we just see that carnage adding up a lot faster. But this course out here and what we've seen so far at Rush Springs Ranch, it's just fun. It's fast. I mentioned earlier, it's a little bit of everything, got a lot of different elements to it. So I think we'll see a lot more of those fast passes and hopefully less carnage this weekend.
That's a 103.897 from Mr. Casey Howell. And yeah, I think you're right on. I think you're going to see some guys kind of get out there, push hard, have some fun. And again, being a little bit easier course than we're used to, or maybe than we've seen some of the last couple of races where we had so much carnage in West Virginia. We only had one guy. Nick was the only guy to complete course 2. So everybody else had a DNF, whether they broke or whether they just decided, hey, I don't want to break the rig. A couple of guys pulled up, kind of tried it, was like, yeah, this isn't going well. So I think you're going to see a little bit more ease. Again, some of these guys are just trying to get points to kind of work up in the podium. We only have a handful of UTV Bounty guys this weekend, so they're trying to either solidify those points or get a good finish, get up in the points, and try to end up on that top spot for the podium after finals.
Well, and speaking of finals, coming up in just a few short weeks, October 2nd through 4th, it's going to be here before we know it, and I know these guys are probably hoping that they're not going to have to do too much as far as repairs and, tearing things down and fixing between now and then. So.
Yeah, repairs, it happens sometimes. Look to make sure their course is clear here. Again, we appreciate SCS for these. SCS is sponsoring this race. We appreciate them coming out. I know they have a lot of guys run the SCS transfer case. I know I have one. I mean, there's tons of bouncers. I think almost all the bouncers now have an SCS case in them.
Yeah.
They start out making pulling tractor cases. So for guys who have 4, 5, 6 motors, so they know how to deal with heavy power and heavy loads. So it works out very well.
Reliable. This is Alston Tidwell making his way over the SCS stone pile now.
That big concrete ledge, you can go up or you can go around the concrete ledge. Okay, you can see that access road on the top there. And then this long downhill straight section. It is very, very steep. You can see the guys kind of riding their brakes, and then that last big kind of jump at the end there. It's about a 3-foot ledge at the bottom of that hill.
Yeah, speaking of that, coming down the hill and then entering into that short course, and there's kind of like a ditch that you go through. Dylan Dowler was telling me yesterday after his race, he bottomed out so hard there, it actually dented his skid plate up and into the drive shaft.
Jeez. Holy cow.
So not all of that comes across on camera,
Yeah.
And you don't realize quite how violent some of these areas of the course are.
Yeah. Again, just ripping through that short course area.
All right, let's check that time for Alston. So we're hearing that Alston actually made a wrong turn at the bottom of the hill, and so he was technically off course, and unfortunately that is going to be a DNF for him here on course 1. We always hate to see that for any of our drivers. They're putting in the time and effort to get here and race, but they have their course maps ahead of time, and they get the chance to pre-run and walk the course and everything. But, it still happens. You get in race mode, like Nathaniel Bell out there right now. I'm sure he's in race mode too. And it can definitely happen quickly, make a wrong turn out there. But hate to see that for Alston, but he'll be back for course 2, I'm sure. Nathaniel Bell is second in points coming into the weekend, 36 points behind Casey Howell with 563 for the season so far. He had a 4th place finish at our last event at Hawk Pride. And he's got a real solid lead, 131-point lead over 3rd place in points Alston Tidwell right now. So Casey and Nathaniel going to be battling it out heading into finals.
Again, he is flying on that downhill section he did, I think, was our fastest yet. Obviously pushing hard on the short course area, but that downhill section, he was just floating through there.
And Nathaniel was our season champion for Bounty class last year, so definitely no stranger to laying down some fast passes in this class.
Here we go. See what his time's going to be.
Ooh, 89.919 for Nathaniel Bell. That was definitely a very quick pass from Nathaniel. And that is actually it for course one for our bounty class. We have a little smaller class than usual today, and I'm going to go ahead and say that as a lot of drivers are saving the buggy for finals.
Yeah.
So that's course one. Casey Howell had a 103. Nathaniel Bell had the fastest time with an 89. Austin Tidwell, unfortunately, with that DNF, making a wrong turn at the bottom of the hill. We are going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be back with more racing action.
These UTV guys have been pushing the limits for years, and we are keeping up with them, providing them the strongest axle on the planet. Our UTV line uses all 300M components, high-temp synthetic moly grease to handle the abuse of these short courses or long desert races, whatever these guys are doing. They've been pushing the limits, and we've been keeping up. So the years of development for the Pro Series line with our 300M, we have learned so much. We've taken that technology and we've taken the things out of it that make it, absolutely the strongest and made it the strongest in class for trail use. And we've come out with a Trail Series axle. And that axle is going to be 4340 chromoly steel, all U.S. made, and it is going to be the best in class for your trail. So you don't necessarily have to get the Pro Series. If you're not out here racing, if you don't have 300 horsepower hill killing with these guys, you can get a Trail Series RCV axle and go out and cruise with your buddies with peace of mind that you're not going to break. So for everything UTV, visit us at rcvperformance.com. And for Trail Series, find us at trailseriesaxle.com.
All right, everybody, welcome back for round 9 of the National Rock Racing Association here at Rush Springs Ranch in Pineville, Missouri. We just wrapped up course 1 of our UTV Bounty. We are ready to go into course 1 for the Mickey Thompson Bouncer class. Matt, we talked a little bit about what the courses look like for today. Course 1, probably going to be pretty doable for everybody.
Yeah.
Course 2 might get a little more interesting. I know you were out there looking at the hills today, doing a little pre-running last night. Any last-minute thoughts before we head to the line?
Yeah, again, like I said, I think the dust staying down will be super important today because it is a little warmer here. We had some 65-degree days. Now it's more like 95-degree days. So being a little warmer, I think you're going to see that dust play up again in the short course area that we have here. That's a beautiful short course area. A little faster speeds over there. The hills are a little harder. Lots of loose dirt and like shelf rock, a little powderish type area. So I think you're going to see guys, really have to lay the speed on. Pre-running last night, I really had to lay into that throttle just to kind of get it to climb out the top. So I think you'll see a lot of that happening today, as well as course 2. It's going to be a little more difficult. Lots of ledges. That first big ledge is pretty gnarly. We have a couple different areas we can choose down the bottom. Clyde gave us a little leeway here and there, so we're pretty excited as far as how the course is going to go. Climbing the hill is going to be great. The second hill, I think, will give us a lot more problems. I think we're just going to see some really, really fast times on course 1. I know guys really appreciate you talked earlier about chatting about the short course. This is our only really chance to do a short course of all season. So I think guys getting out there having some fun, kind of letting that hair blow in the wind, enjoy it. So I think we're going to see some real good times out there, some real fast times.
Yep.
Course 2, I think we're going to see a little more guys have some issues, maybe some breakage. But again, I think it's anybody's day.
All right, hopefully not too much breakage now. We only got a couple weeks till finals. Before we head to the line, let's take a quick look at points and how things are standing as we come into this weekend. I don't think that what's on the screen is correct right now. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys what I've got here. Wade Good is actually in the lead with 718 points, just 1 point ahead of Nick Reich with 717. And then Nick's got a real solid lead ahead of third place right now, Cooper Bentley with 607 points. Daniel Heckley in fourth right now with 579. And then Clint Garrison rounding out top 5 with 567 points. So only 1 point between Wade and Nick. It's going to be exciting to see how things shake out this race and next. And with that, guys, let's go ahead to the line. Looks like we've got Brendan Jones starting things off for us today. Brendan is filling in for Clint Garrison. Clint, of course, 5th in points right now in the season, so he wasn't able to be here, but didn't want to sacrifice all the points from today. So he's got Brendan Jones filling in for him.
And again, Danny Smith is actually here this weekend. Brought Clint's buggy, was going to race it and had motor issues. So unfortunately, Danny Smith, we were going to see his legendary return. Unfortunately, not able to get that race this weekend. So looks like Brandon Jones is going to come out and do some racing. Again, this is an old Ultra 4 car. I know Anthony Yount used to race this quite a bit.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen this buggy out on the hills. Or Brendan. Glad to have him back in action. All right, guys, if you're just joining us, welcome to Hillside Live with Bree and Matt. This is our first bouncer of the day, Course 1, here at Rush Springs Ranch in Pineville, Missouri. Thanks for tuning in with us, both to our online audience joining us on Rock Racing TV YouTube channel and our television audience joining us on Power Sports World. Let's see how Brendan handles the short course action here.
Yeah, I think this Ultra 4 car is going to do very well here.
I think you're right, Matt.
Have a lot of fun. You can tell I'm sure he's having a blast in that cab right now.
Well, you know, it's never easy being the first guy out either, and having to kind of set the pace, set the bar, and also be the first one out and make sure you're making all the right turns on the course.
Yes.
But Brandon's doing a great job so far. Got a good smooth run going.
And he either came in late last night or early this morning, so he did not get a chance to come out and pre-run this. So
no, I think he might have rolled in this morning.
So coming in.
Either way, definitely not easy being the first one out.
No, coming in straight out the gate and saying, "Hey, let's go." And I don't know if he's raced with us here before either. See what that time's going to be. That's a 98.465 from Mr. Brandon Jones. Again, nice smooth run.
I know Clint's happy to have that first course finished to get those points collected. Looks like we've got Clay Kaysen on the line now. Clay is filling in for Ethan Hunt's position. This is Clay's third race in the bouncer?
Yeah, I think so.
I think third now.
That sounds about right.
Clay, of course, been racing with the series for several years now, about 4 years, I think, in the UTV class, and has been our season champion in that class, and I think he's currently leading in points as well in our UTV Cup class. But Clay stepped up to the bouncers about partway through this season and has been doing an awesome job behind the wheel of the bouncers and collecting plenty of points.
Yeah, he is definitely he jumped in this buggy. I think his first race was West Virginia, and he did an amazing, one of our 5 drivers to complete Course 1. So definitely feeling very comfortable in it, and heck of a wheel man. His brother Cody down here watching him. Again, this is a TC built chassis that's been reworked over the years. Used to be a leading arm.
Yeah, this one's called Stand Back. You guys probably heard that name before. Clay already got to run around the short course yesterday, racing in the UTV Cup class. So at least he's had that time to get the course firmly in his mind.
Yeah.
I don't know if he did any pre-running in the bouncer or not. He's there airing it out there.
I think he was down here last night. We had a handful of drivers that were coming and going throughout the night, so.
And I think that is a great thing for the drivers to be able to pre-run if they want to.
Yes.
You know, they get the course maps ahead of time. They can walk the course and also have the opportunity to pre-run it. So
yeah,
that makes a big difference. 86.060 for Clay Kaysen.
You're done.
That is the time to beat on course 1. But yeah, you know, when you're racing 2 courses, and a lot of our drivers race multiple classes, so that's a lot to keep up with in your head, a lot of turns to remember, and then a lot of, you know, spots on the course that you need to, you know, you might want to check up here, put your tire here, you know, just spots to be aware of. It's a lot to keep up with when you're in race mode. And,
when a lot of guys, I kind of enjoy pre-running, but a lot of guys have a big superstitious, like, oh, if we got pre-running, we could break the buggy, which is true. And we saw 3 or 4 buggies yesterday getting towed away. Denny Smith being one of them. I know Wade was working on his buggy down here. We had a few guys. Ben Driscoll was working on his. So you can, but to me, the trade-off is being comfortable in the course the next day. Makes you be that much faster. Got Kenneth Cozine coming off that race line starting gate. His new buggy built by Sunfire Off-Road.
Yeah, Kenneth has raced just a handful of times in the new build. Been doing a great job with it, you know. And there's always, it's always hard when you've got a brand new buggy. You know, there's kinks to work out, and
I think he just lost. I think he just lost front steering.
Oh man, he said last night he was having a little trouble with it and thought it was just getting hot or something. But
he went to a turn to go up, and the buggy just went straight. And I saw him back up and then went straight again, and I was like, yeah, that stinks. Again, this is a new build by Sunfire Off-Road. I think this is a second or third race, so kind of those new buggy blues. Guys get a new buggy and kind of working the kinks out, you know. Anytime you get a new vehicle that's been custom built from the ground up, it takes a little while sometimes to get everything exactly dialed in perfectly. So, again, Kenneth is a heck of a racer. We saw him in Bad Donkey years ago, be very competitive in that buggy, so I have no doubt that he's going to get this thing dialed in and be very, very competitive next year.
Definitely.
But, you know, being a new buggy, getting it in,
it takes a little time.
It does.
We've all been there. We can take a little look at our Amsoil action shot here and just check out that moment where it became clear that he was not going to be able to turn and do the course like he planned on.
Yeah, you can see he had his wheels turned left, and they just never turned back to the right. So, but, man, that stinks. All right. We got Daniel Heckley doing a heck of a good job. Again, he was out here racing his Can-Am yesterday. Another guy that has been no stranger to the podium this season.
No, Daniel is 4th in points right now, coming into the weekend with 579.
Again, had kind of a rough race at Hawk Pride.
Speaking of a little bit of a rough race at Hawk Pride, Daniel did have quite a wild ride, a little bit of a crash on the course, but because of that, he is going to be taking home at least one trophy today, and that is going to be the Skinny Pedal Award. Daniel's going to be taking home our Skinny Pedal trophy for that wild ride at Hawk Pride.
And he had John Campbell come up and race second course for him. And again, you can hear that big motor just screaming as he's trying to power that buggy up the hill.
How many race hills do you think that this buggy has been on, Matt?
It's got to be like pushing 100.
How many is this the second or third year for Daniel racing it?
Second, maybe? It might be the third.
Man, time flies. Kind of all runs together after a while. Well, at any rate, this buggy is no stranger to the race hills and no stranger to getting its driver on the podium either.
Yeah, no, I think, Timmy raced it for 2 years. Brandon raced it for a year. Timmy raced it for another year. And then they went back to Brandon as a backup buggy, and then it came to Daniel. So, I mean, it's raced. And Timmy, when he raced it, did Outlaw, Point One. I mean, he did all of them. See what that time's going to be. That's an 86.304. Literally
Wow.
0.3 of a second behind Clay.
Oh, my
Holy
goodness.
cow.
Okay, Clay Kaysen had an 86.0. Daniel Heckley just put down an 86.3. Matt, how do they always do this?
That is wild.
And this is a fairly long course.
Yes.
Wow. I don't understand it.
It's
But
just
it does
insane.
make for some exciting racing, so we like it.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. Again, 0.3 of a second difference on an 86-second course. That is absolutely bananas.
All right. Speaking of some fast times, we've got Wade Good on the line.
And again, speaking of upsetting that apple cart,
Wade is our current points leader. Well, I could say our current point leader. He is 1 point ahead of Nick Reich coming into this weekend. They have been absolutely battling it out. We still got a lot of racing to do between today's 2 courses and finals 4 courses. A lot of points on the line still, but boy, is it exciting watching these guys come out here and throw down.
yeah, just and incredible too. Just these guys just do such a great job, and Wade is just so stinking fast. All right, guys, I'm going to hop out here. Zach's going to hop in with us. We'll see you guys here in a little bit.
All right, Matt, good luck. Drive fast. And I've got Zach Garner coming to join me in the booth now while Matt goes to race. Zach, are you ready for this?
Oh, man, this is the time to be here. Wade Good.
All right, so right now our fastest time was an 86.0 from Clay Kaysen, with Daniel Heckley right behind him with an 86.3. Zach, what do you think we're going to see from Wade?
Oh, man, I'm looking at Wade throwing down an 84.
Ooh.
Yeah. He's on track right now just based on comparison to the other guys where they were on the seconds. His downhill is unmatched.
Yep.
A lot of the drivers were making jokes with him last night about look how lucky he gets. And he's like, you can't get lucky every time. It's impossible.
Well, that's a fair point.
Yeah. At some point, he keeps it on the ragged edge, no doubt. A lot of these, the gearing is really big. It's a huge factor, more so than most of the courses we race because of this section he's in right now. Being able to reach that top speed, a lot of the buggies are geared low for the low end torque and the ability to pull the hill or a bounce. And then this is a completely different set out there trying to get the wheel speed up.
Yep, I know we were talking yesterday about how Clint Garrison's buggy, Liberty 2, is geared especially low. Are there any others that you can think of out here that might be concerned about that today? Well, hang on. Let's get Wade's time real quick.
Let's get Wade knocked out. I said 8.4. I was a little bit off.
83.942.
942.
For Wade Good, that is your new leader here on course 1. Zach, you were spot on. 83.9.
I should have called it. I was.
And we've got Dustin Medley on the line now.
Yeah. All right. We got Dustin Medley driving the Gold Rush. The things that stick out about this buggy is the horsepower is insane. It has a lower gear set, but it turns so many RPMs that usually he can make up for it. Its horsepower on the long pull is going to be a big benefit for it. And Dustin is not afraid to pin it when he needs to. So, to tell you the truth, the riskiest part of this course on course 1 is coming through these rocks. If these guys get too excited or get a bad bounce, or they lawn dart a tire into a rock and they break an axle, it can really mess them up their entire round.
And we have seen that happen. Not yet this weekend. We haven't had any carnage on the SCS stone pile yet this weekend, but we've seen it happen in years past. You're coming right out the gate, you're excited to get going, and you just blast into those rocks a little too hard.
Well, Cody Kaysen yesterday had a huge lead going into round 2, and he he kind of babied it through this rock section because at that point he had such a gap on everybody. He could have put it in low and still won the race. But he ended up, after he made it through the rock section, doing what he does and just laid down the fastest time for the second time of the day yesterday.
Yep. And we'll see Cody back out here in the bouncer class in just a little while, too.
Yeah, Cody's going to be in the general 2-point-whoa.
2-point-whoa. I love it. It's fun seeing the general back out here.
Yeah. Ryan went back through and revamped the general style and put a bigger motor with more horse pressures in it, and that's why he named it 2-point-whoa.
All right, but before that, let's see what Dustin does in Gold Rush here. Time to beat right now is that 83.9 that Wade Good just laid down. A very good time.
You know, Wade's downhill is what gives him a big advantage, and these drivers know it. So a lot of them pulling this uphill can actually outrun him in that section, but having the commitment to go down the hill just on the ragged edge, almost out of control, is where he gets a lot of these guys. A couple of seconds makes a big difference when hundredths are separating you.
And that's tough. That's really a mental thing when you're pointing down a steep hill, and y'all watching this, you got to remember everything out here is just more than it looks on camera. You know, the hills are steeper, the ledges are taller, the ruts are deeper. Everything's just a little bit more than it looks, all right? So when you're pointed down the hill and you're in the gas and, you know, you've got a little bit, you don't want to just full on bottom out at the bottom of the hill either. You know, that's a little bit of a mental game.
Well, you back up even 7 years ago, all the drivers had the same mindset. We built our buggies to climb. We didn't build them to go downhill. So they had to back up and revamp a lot of their systems. Reject Fab came on the scene and built a lot of buggies that were versatile to the point that they were doing good downhill and uphill equally, and had some good drivers representing them and kind of showed it could be done. And then Timmy made adaptations, and with his driving style, became really tough. 87.116, Breed, you hear that?
That's a really great time.
That is very good. That is very, very good time.
Right now, our top three, though, is looking like Wade, followed by Clay Kaysen, and then Daniel Heckley. And Clay and Daniel, of course, separated by only 0.3 of a second. Zach, I don't know how it happens every time. Yeah. Even when we've got these longer courses, it's always amazing to me.
Well, guess what? Now we have Nick Reich. I mean, when you think it can't get any better, this guy shows up. And I'm telling you, Nick is a wide-open guy. He drives probably the lightest buggy racing here today by far, all chrome moly chassis. He runs ORI strut system, which was terrible for years. Jake Pike did a lot of work and was the first person that was ever successful with them. And he's passed that knowledge and the buggy on to Nick, and Nick has perfected the driving because you really got to unload that front suspension to take any kind of big ledge with the ORI setup.
Yeah, Nick's got this buggy dialed in and figured out, and he has been giving Wade a run for his money all season long. Nick was the only one to finish course 2 at our race at West Virginia, which, man, that was exciting to see. So,
and what a finish. He backed up, threw both hands in the air,
awesome.
Then neutral drops it with everything he had. I talked to Nick. He said, I was either going to climb it or pick the pieces up and take them home.
And sometimes that's the mentality that you have to end up on top out here. It's wild between the mental fortitude you've got to have to push through, and then, you know, trusting your buggy and being able to have the experience in it to know what it's capable of.
Well, and you can have that mentality, but if you don't have the buggy, like I said, the weight of that buggy, the chrome moly chassis, the strength, the flex, the lack thereof because of the strength of the chrome moly makes a huge difference on that buggy. And he is moving, too.
It's going to be tough to beat that 83 from Wade. I don't know.
I don't see it here. I see a good run. But
it's definitely a solid run. I can't tell if it's going to be on par with Wade's or not. Let's see what we got. 81.503 for Nick Reich. That is your new leader here on course 1. Zach, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. I don't know. That was the smoothest run, and it was the fastest, too.
Like I said, that long pull, the weight of the buggy, horsepower to weight ratio, he's got a dynamite mix, and, man, he's blowing up. That is awesome.
That was great. Well done. We are halfway through Course 1. Here are our list of drivers for Course 1. Nick Reich just taking the lead from Wade Good right now. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at that top 5 before we move on. Nick Reich with that 81 in the lead, followed by Wade Good with the 83. Clay Kaysen with an 86.0. Daniel Heckley with that 86.3. And Dustin Medley with an 87, rounding out our top 5. And at this point, that does move Nick up into the top spot for the championship points. But we got a lot of racing still to go.
We're going to have to get Nick a new helmet. His head is not going to fit in the one he just used. But wait, there's more. The reason most of the people came today, Matt Holt.
Matt Holt making his way through that SCS stone pile.
Come on, Matt.
Matt, of course, not only a racer, but also the commentator that you guys are used to hearing up here in the booth with me. And Matt is just an overall absolute fan of the sport and all aspects of it. You see him getting involved in every way that he can, from driving to media. He loves the people involved in the sport and every aspect of being part of it. So I love that about Matt. I love the energy that he brings. You know, he is just excited to be here, and that comes through in his energy that he brings into the booth with us here too. It looks like his front end quit pulling there on the hill, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
But I know that he climbed this hill last night, Zach. He was out here pre-running. He ran Course 1. So I'm not sure what happened with the buggy there for him, but, man, hate that for Matt.
My mama said if you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all.
That sounds like a good life motto.
I hate that for Matt.
I can think of a lot of people
Matt,
that would benefit from that, Zach.
I love to see Matt climb that hill. I want to see him, and if it's mechanical that stopped him, I hate it. I hate it for his luck. And a really super fan of the sport is probably the best description I could ever give of Matt.
Well, we know he climbed the hill last night, so I'm sure he'll fill us in when he gets back up here. We've
already got to see Brendan Jones hit with a U4 style car. Now we have Brandon Davis with the UFO car out of California. This is a U4 design car to race that, but it's super capable and versatile. He doesn't have as much horsepower as the rest of these guys, but he has a low center of gravity. He has a tall gear for top speed. He may very well have an advantage out in the short track. He's going to be a tidbit slower making this climb right, the long hard pull and the loose stuff, but he should make it up out there in the short course. Well,
and I know Brandon is one of our drivers that actually enjoys the short course and likes that style of racing. So not everybody, is as big of a fan. They prefer the hill killing or the more technical rock climbing. But I know Brandon does appreciate the short course. So I think we'll see him shine out there.
Gotcha.
All right, here we go.
Brandon Davis really needs to focus on the strengths of his buggy. Like, this is where he needs to let it eat. The fact that he has superior braking, handling, lower center of gravity, taller gear, and wheel speed, he needs to capitalize. He can handle these jumps. He can jump them faster and farther, land smoother than most of the buggies in our field today, because that's what it's designed to do. You just see how he just soaks those up. That's what that buggy's designed to do. See how deep it dips down in the front, and it makes it easier for the driver to keep control, make his adjustment for his next turn. It's just, but that's where he has to focus, because that's where the only spot that he really is going to have an advantage. But it makes up 75% of this course, so he's in luck today. .289.
All right, not bad, not bad. I think that is third place time right now? Fourth place time right now. We have 3 in the 86 right now.
Jeez. That seems like a popular number.
So we've got Nick in the lead with the 81, followed by Wade with the 83, and then we've got Clay with an 86.0, and now Brandon Davis with an 86.2. We'll throw Daniel Heckley in there, 86.3.
Nice.
We're a little over halfway through Course 1 of the Mickey Thompson Bouncer Cup. And it looks like we've got Jay Storts on the line.
Oh, Jay Storts with his brand new buggy. He only have 3 attempts in this buggy so far. Really happy to see it. Another Jake Pike build, Chrome Molly. However, this buggy was surprisingly heavier. It's running the Bacon's drive ends and knuckles and everything, so it's 40 spline. Let's say it's like a beefed up version of Jake's normal Fordzilla buggy. He's got a little more horsepower and a little more weight.
That sounds exactly like something suitable for Jay, too.
Yes. And I think it's called
Fortitude.
Fortitude. Y'all don't need to ask me that because Jay had a lot better names, but they probably wouldn't have gone over so good with the certain crowd.
I like it.
But he's coming out of Ford play and moving into Fortitude.
You got to stick with the theme there.
Yes. Well, he's a Ford guy, and I give him a hard time about it. Oh, he is, and it has cost him a lot.
Oh,
I joke with him all the time. How many buggies do you have to have running Ford motors to make it an entire season? And he said 3 to 3.5.
Well, things are looking good so far out here for Jay. You know, he told me, I asked him what was one of his favorite things about the new buggy, and he said that it fits him like a glove. He said when Jake was measuring him for it and everything, he's like, I feel like I was getting fitted for a tux. Mm-hmm. Everything is just so specific, designed for him. And that helps a lot when you can be so fully comfortable in the vehicle. Everything from how your pedals feel and how where your steering wheel's at and how much clearance you have so that you can feel safe and comfortable driving it.
Well, you got to make decisions in hundredths of seconds. I mean, you got to make adaptations from the time you land, from the time you go in and jump. Your throttle timing, everything's on your mind. So the fact that you can be secured and solid makes a huge difference in your capability and recovery time from a hard hit.
Yeah. 93.531 for Jay Storts.
93.531. That is impressive. Good job. Jay's still getting his sea legs and getting comfortable with the buggy. I bet he's happy with that. He didn't hit any trees, which is really good. That's always a goal. At this point, Jay tells you he wants completed runs because you have to build confidence in yourself and the buggy.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to that. I look forward to Tim Bacon. He needs a good run today.
Mm-hmm.
He's struggling with his confidence in the buggy and himself, and he is a great driver with a very capable buggy. He just has to prove it to himself again. He's going to be back up there in the top.
Definitely.
All right, I got to get back out here and holler at the crowd and make fun of people.
Well, Zach, thanks for joining us up here. I've got Matt coming back into the booth with me now, and then we'll be ready to send Ethan Jones off the line. All right, Matt, welcome back. And here we go with Ethan Jones.
Got Ethan Jones coming out here. He was down here doing a little playing last night as well. Again, that hill is super steep, but what you can't really see, it actually slides from left to right as well. So as you're going up, you're going to notice the buggies kind of drift over, and there's no grass on that upper far left side. It's because it's pushing you the opposite direction.
Matt, fill us in real quick on your run.
Broke a front right axle shaft. Again.
Man, we hate that for you.
No, it's a rough weekend.
You got a spare?
I do. That was the spare because we broke it last weekend.
You got a spare?
Yeah. So
you got a buddy with a spare. That's what you need now.
Yeah. Good times.
Next best thing. Oh, man. Sorry, bud.
But Ethan Jones out there doing some work. Again, he has really gotten comfortable with this buggy this year.
Yeah, it's been great watching him race this season.
Came out with us at Windrock and has just been battling ever since.
Yep. Putting down some wicked good runs.
Wicked good runs.
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't
Well,
pass that one
well
up.
played. Well played, Bree. You can't pass up a good dad joke.
Nope.
That's a 100.983.
See who we've got coming up to the line now. Looks like Cooper. Matt, how about Nick Reich's 81-second run?
I didn't know what his time was, but I knew he was flying through there.
And it was such a smooth run. Zach and I were sitting up here and we were like, we can't even tell, is it faster than Wade or not at the,
Yeah.
and then he 2 seconds faster.
Jeez.
That was crazy.
And again, with those guys being 1 point apart, being that he has the fastest run, and if that holds, there's 3 point difference. But if Wade beats him on course 2, again, they just keep swapping points all season.
Well, and speaking of points, we've got Cooper Bentley out there now. Cooper is third in points overall coming into this weekend. He is 110 points behind Nick, though, so definitely a little ground to make up here.
And Cooper had an absolutely amazing season so far. Again, at one point was leading the entire season, just rocking it out, just an absolute off-road behemoth. That being said, last night I got to hang out with him. He was trail riding his golf cart. And someone said, man, your dad's going to take that away from you. He said, oh, this is mine. I bought it. Otherwise, he would have a long time ago. And I was cracking up laughing. I was like, this is awesome.
We got to say that Cooper's also one of our youngest drivers in the bouncer class. So
him and I think one of
hence his dad taking away the golf cart.
Him and one of the Ellisons were out there hanging out and said they were trying trails that said winch only, and they were actually going up
in
the trail.
Golf cart?
In the golf cart.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm like, holy cow. He's like, and Cooper, very soft. He's like, yeah, it was a lot of fun. Just a great guy, and just a very kid at heart. Being that he is a kid, he's also a kid at heart. It's great to see. Got to chat with his grandpa. Was out here with him this weekend. Again, look at that buggy.
He might be a kid at heart, but he means business when he gets behind the wheel. Well, let's see what his time is. Ooh. 84.903 for Cooper Bentley. That is a third place time right now. Nick Reich still in the lead with that 81, followed by Wade Good with 83. Now Cooper Bentley with that 84. And then I believe it's still Clay Kaysen with the 86.0, and then Brandon Davis with the 86.2. Those are your top 5 right now. We've got a handful of drivers left for course 1 of our Mickey Thompson bouncer class, and it looks like little Tim Bacon is on the line. Zach and I were talking earlier about how obviously Tim is an awesome driver. We know this buggy is very capable. He's had some tough luck this season, just some breakage, some bad, I don't know, not what we would have expected, from his runs. And Zach was saying how we just need Tim to build that confidence back up in the buggy and what he can do with it. And we know we'll be back out here laying down those smoking fast passes again.
Yeah, this is a new buggy. Again, they're getting all the bugs worked out of it as well. Great news. Bubba is here as well. Got to hang out with him in the camper yesterday for a while. Me and my dad and little Tim and Bubba got to hang out and goof around for a couple hours, and we were watching drag racing on TV. First rock bouncing and then drag racing on TV while we were just sitting there chit-chatting. Little Tim was working on his RC rock crawler, having a good time, and got to talk to them about some axle stuff, about stuff they're doing with 40spline.com and all the goodies that are in the works with that. Bubba's new chassis coming along. He's getting close.
Ooh.
Getting close.
Nice.
He's been talking to Timmy a little bit, getting some sweet deals and some new parts for his bouncer. It'll be done soon. I'm really excited to see his bouncer too. He has Little Tim is almost 600 cubic inch. Bubba is slightly over 600 cubic inch. So these aren't just your average big block. These are monster blocks.
Yeah.
Little
Tim's is a 572.
So these guys
it's
are
too rowdy right here.
Yeah, too rowdy.
Yep.
They enjoy that bacon big block family, But I mean, when you get to that 600-ish, 600+ range, I feel like
that's a big block.
That is a monster block. You have exceeded the big block.
You have a big block, and then you have a big block.
Yeah, it's true. You have exceeded big block standards. And again, I watched him. There was a little bit easier of a climb on that far left side. I watched him come up and just rip up this morning, and this buggy just sounds so monstrous. And normally your big blocks are so loud and rowdy, where his sounds more like a Formula One car.
That's because it's too rowdy. Man, looking good so far. He ripped right up that first hill. We know the Bacons know how to do some hill climbs. Yeah. We got to see how he handles the short course now.
Launching off those jumps. Again, these high bank turns literally are. Me and my dad went and did them in the side-by-side, and I said, these things are just so much fun. And the faster you go, the funner it is. It's like a kid, like on a bicycle. It's so much fun.
Not a bad lap for a bouncer that's built for hill killing. Check his time.
Just doing acrobatics through the finish line there. Wow. That's an 89.637 for Little Tim Bacon.
And I know Tim is glad for an uneventful, nice, smooth, fast run.
Yeah.
We're glad to see that for him, too.
And again, 89. Right now, the fastest time we have is an 81. So, I mean, he's right there, not that far off pace. Again, especially for a new buggy that's just getting dialed in. All right, we have our top 10 here. Again, shout out to everybody for this awesome leaderboard. We got Nick Reich sitting in the top spot right now. Again, this is halfway through the first course. We got Nick Reich sitting in the top spot. Wade Good sitting in second. Cooper Bentley and Mr. Chocolate Milk in third. Daniel Heckley in fourth. Clint Garrison in fifth.
Oh, we've got Tim Bacon in that sixth spot right now. And then Ethan Jones, seventh. Brandon Davis at eighth. Connor Flynn, ninth. And Ethan Hunt rounding out top 10. And that would be Clay Kaysen. You know what? That is, I don't think that's what we were actually wanting to look at there, Matt. That was the wrong board. Let's try that again.
Okay. Nick Reich sitting in that number one spot with the 81 second. There we go. Wade Good, Cooper Bentley, Ethan Hunt, and Brandon Davis rounding out that top five.
Then we've got Daniel Heckley, Dustin Medley, Tim Bacon, Jay Stortz, and Clint Garrison finishing out our top 10 right now. That was definitely not Taylor's fault.
Yeah. Listen, we'll let him have one mistake a day, okay? That's it, okay? Listen, we expect you to be perfect.
Now we've got Ben Driscoll on the line.
Again, Ben was down here playing last night. He has really got this thing dialed in. I know it Pretty Place, he had kind of an eventful race, but it was definitely a great day, because he said he pulled off literally as soon as he finished his run. After that first one, he came down, had a kind of a spicy ending. He said, and obviously he was sitting leaderboard. He said, "My name is Ben Driscoll, and I just beat Wade Good." Everybody kind of giggled around him.
I would have said it too.
I would have.
Ben also took home our Skinny Pedal Award
for
that race at Pretty Place.
Yeah. I don't think that's the trophy you want to take home. I mean, you don't mind, I tell people it's like insurance. You want to have good insurance, but you don't want to use it, Yeah, he had kind of an eventful morning, too. Look at him just drifting around that corner. And he has gotten very comfortable in this buggy. Again, watching that suspension just kind of soak up those jumps. There's several that are smaller, but there's one out there that's pretty good size. So you definitely want to know whether it's a big jump or a little jump when you're coming off.
$89.893.
Wow. Little Tim just
Great run.
Little Tim just ran an 89.6.
Yeah. Now we got an 89.8.
Man, again, it's crazy how tight this racing is. All right, we got Dallas Glover running for Dan Bowman. I think this is Dallas's first time racing with us.
It is, yeah.
I said I don't recognize the name.
We have a couple first-time racers in a few different classes over this weekend. We always love to see that. We like having new folks come out and join the fun with us here. And I always like to say, if you too would like to come out and join the fun, if you've got a vehicle at home and you're watching this thinking, hey, I can do that. That looks like fun. Head on over to nationalrockracing.com. You can find the specs and safety requirements and such for all of our classes there, and hopefully make some plans to come out and join us maybe for the 2026 season.
There's several big drop-offs there that can kind of spice it. That last one's about 3 foot down. You can see, guys, I found the easiest thing is kind of rolling it with a little bit of speed, and that way your suspension kind of droops all the way out, kind of soaks up that landing. Luckily, most of the rock bouncers, again, have nice big tires that are, aired down a little bit, which also kind of takes some of the abuse there. Again, the side-by-sides, some of those guys in the stock class yesterday, just the technology coming out from manufacturers is so incredible.
Dallas has a great run going here. He might not have been expecting to have a short course section thrown in when he agreed to fill in for Dan Bowman today either. So we got to keep them on their toes out here, you know.
And a great sounding buggy, too. That's a 117.165.
All right, that brings us to Connor Flynn, and I believe he is going to wrap up course 1 for us here in the bouncer class. Connor's been having a great season as well. Another one of our younger drivers racing in the bouncer class, running this Elder Fad buggy. I know he put a new motor in it not too long ago.
And they also just had it tuned. They did some shock tuning as well.
What did he put in it? He had the 7.3 Godzilla.
They took that out, and it was like a 434 or something. I don't remember exactly what it was, so don't quote me on that. But they had put just a different custom engine in there, and it's obviously done very well the last couple of races for him.
Yeah,
not the same necessarily sound as the other motor, but it's definitely done very well. And I talked to his dad a little bit. I said, so what was the issue with the Godzilla? And he said, well, we had 3 or 4 other things that were kind of leading to kind of some engine failure. But he said we've had pretty good luck so far with this one.
Well, and with it being a rear engine buggy, too, that it sets it apart from most of the other bouncers out here.
Yeah, and they were doing some shock tuning this week, replaced some shocks. They were looking at some sway bar. He said you get a lot of body roll right now, so they were looking at some different charts for trying to figure out exactly how much body roll they can, what size sway bar will give them the amount for, again, scaling it out, looking at the weights. There's a lot of things to figure out when you have suspension. There's so many components, and they all have to work together flawlessly.
Yep, suspension is definitely a huge component that you want to have dialed in out here so that you can handle the uphills, the downhills, the occasional short course.
Yeah, he was looking at that, and he said they're looking to get into a new sway bar, maybe going a little bit bigger, just to kind of help eliminate some of that body roll. But trying to figure out exactly what it is through trial and error.
$97.434 for Connor Flynn.
All right. We're going to cut to a quick commercial break, and after that, we'll get to our top 10. Oh, just kidding. Just kidding. That's just we were practicing.
There's only one tire brand that can call itself legendary. Rebirthed from the depths of Baja and representing decades of racing heritage, Mickey Thompson Tires announces a new American mud terrain legend. This dominating tire is purpose-built for thrill seekers everywhere. The new Baja Legend MTZ. It's time to get what you really want in a tire. Silica reinforced T4 tread compound for enhanced wet performance. PowerPly 3-ply construction for sidewall protection and responsive handling. Improved 4-pitch side biters for bold looks and off-road grip. Proven MTZ tread styling for undisputed traction. 35 different sizes, and one is just waiting for your rig. Gear up and roll with the American mud terrain legend, the Baja Legend MTZ.
All right, folks, we are back, and we are going to take a look at our top 10 from Course 1 in the bouncer class. Nick Reich was able to hang on to that lead with the 81, and then Wade Good with the 83, Cooper Bentley with that 84 there in third, Clay Kaysen running for Ethan Hunt's spot with that 86.0, and then Brandon Davis rounding out top 5 with an 86.2.
And Daniel Heckley coming in 6th, Dustin Medley coming in 7th, Little Tim Bacon coming in 8th, Ben Driscoll coming in 9th, and Jay Storage with his new buggy rounding out top 10.
All right, so that completes Course 1 for the bouncer class, and we are ready to head into Course 1 for the limited bouncers. So hang on, we're not done with the big horsepower and everything yet. We've got, I believe, 4 drivers in our limited bouncer class today. We did have a new driver. We've got a late entry, and then actually 2 new drivers, I believe, and we're also going to see Cody Kaysen jumping in there today. So, all right, let's head to the line and see who's going to start things off for us today. Looks like Chris Clements.
Yeah, he's raced with us before, but I think it's only this race he races at. I think he raced with us 2 years ago here. I know he also races some of the outlaw races as well, so exciting to see him out. More of an Ultra 4 style buggy. That buggy is sounding good.
So for our limited class, obviously these are still bouncers, and they're running the same course as our unlimited bouncer class. But the specifications to make this the limited bouncer class is that the vehicles must meet 2 of these 3 requirements: an OEM engine block, with no power adders like supercharger, blower, whatever, and a single shock per corner. So 2 of those 3, and then no rear steer. And so those are the requirements we came up with. This is a new class for this 2025 season. We took the feedback that we were getting about some drivers that maybe already had a bouncer built or kind of like a trail rig. They wanted to be able to race it, and maybe it wasn't either the driver or the vehicle or whatever. They weren't ready to jump into the unlimited class, but still wanted to come out here and have some fun in a bouncer class. So we took that feedback and created those requirements. And yeah, we've been having some fun in our limited bouncer class. And like I said, they're racing the exact same course as the unlimited class. So still
sometimes can be
challenging.
Which sometimes can be a very gnarly course. That's a 118.480. And again, like I said, it's, for guys who maybe have a buggy in the a buggy in the barn, or they want to get it out and they maybe go in the woods and do some trail riding. They want to come out and do some racing and get their feet wet.
Yeah.
We've seen Justin Holback. This is his buggy now. I'm not sure if he's in it.
I think it is Justin.
Okay, I see. It looks like Kenneth Cozine's under the vest. So, and the reason I asked that, we've seen him rent it out, like let other guys drive it about 4 times this season.
Yeah.
And again, Justin has a huge heart for the off-road community and just helps out in a lot of ways behind the scenes that nobody really sees. The guy puts in countless hours. So does his wife. His kids race in our youth section. So he has let other people race his buggy 3 or 4 times this season. And just, they've got some seat time, got to feel a little bit, had some fun with it, but again, Justin does a great job for us here.
Yeah, and this class is a great way for a new bouncer driver to get their feet wet. Maybe if they're not quite ready to jump in with Nick Reich and Wade Good and all that. So we've seen like Cody Kaysen, like you mentioned, he raced for Justin a couple times earlier this season, just in our past couple of races. Cody's first time racing in a bouncer. This year was Justin's first time racing in a bouncer, so it's been a good class for that as well. Just sort of getting your feet wet in the bouncer class. Justin is leading in points with 549. He's got a 15-point lead over Dustin Carter, who is second in points right now, and then we've got Dustin Vaughn. We got Justin and 2 Dustins in this class, so try and keep it all clear for you guys. Dustin Vaughn is third in points right now at this point in the season for our limited bouncer class. And this is Showstopper 2.0 that Justin is driving. Originally built by Jason Spiegel. If you've been around the sport for a while, probably maybe at least a decade now, I don't know, then you'll recognize that name. But Justin's been doing a great job with it this year. We've seen it go from plenty of drivers over the years. Jay Stortz owned Showstopper most recently. So we've seen this buggy hit lots of hills before.
Yeah.
It's a tough one for sure. We also saw Justin race in our UTV stock class yesterday as well. And then, like Matt mentioned, both of the Hoback kids race in our youth class. So it is a full-on family affair for the Hobacks, as it is for many of our racers out here. And that is one of the great things about the series. 132.439 for Justin Hoback.
All right, we got Colby Wilson sitting in that race line starting gate.
Yeah, and I believe this is Colby's first time racing with us, so welcome to the NRRA fam, Colby. Glad to have you out here.
Good-looking bouncer.
If you're just tuning in, you guys are watching Course 1 of the limited bouncer class. We just wrapped up Course 1 for the unlimited bouncers and for our UTV Bounty class that we started with. Thanks for joining us here today. We are at Rush Springs Ranch in Pineville, Missouri for race number 9 of the NRRA. After this, we've got our UTV Teen/Amateur class. Got a nice lineup of young drivers ready to lay down some fast times on the course for us. And then we still got our UTV Youth class as well. And then same as always, we're going to do it all again and run it back for Course 2 for everybody. So we are not even halfway through our day of racing here. We still got a lot to come. Colby Wilson making his way around the course right now. Come on, Colby.
That buggy kind of reminds me of Brian Beeble-Watt a little bit.
Yeah, it
Kind of
does.
with the green in there.
Yep. All right, we're thinking we can hear something clanking, and it's looking like he's aware of that, broke and pulling off the course. Always hate to see that, especially for our new drivers. All right, he's done. All right, well, he's off the course, so I think he's just going to leave it there.
Yeah.
And we'll continue on.
He said, I broke the throttle cable.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a little hard to race when you have no throttle cable. That's unfortunate. All right, we got Cody Kaysen sitting in that race line starting gate in the General.
The General 2.0. Because 2.0 is so basic.
Yes.
We could do better than
I think
that.
this is the regular General.
Is it?
The 2.0 had a big
Zach
motor.
led me astray then.
And it had.
Zach's the one that pointed that out earlier.
It's the General. The 2.0 I think Clint still has. And this buggy back in its day when Clint raced it was a great buggy. Clint was very competitive with it.
Yeah, as far as I know, this is Cody's first time racing this bouncer. He is racing for Dustin Carter's points today.
I think he raced Justin Holback's buggy earlier this year. I think that was his first time ever being in a bouncer.
Yeah, he's been in Showstopper twice, I believe.
I know he's been in there once, but he might have done it twice.
Cody, obviously no stranger to the series. We're used to seeing him in the UTV stock class and occasionally in the Cup or Bounty class as well, but he has been dominating in the UTV stock class for a couple seasons now, and I guess this was the natural progression to step it on up and try out a bouncer this year. This is Jay Stort's buggy, too, the General.
Yeah, Jay picked this up when he sold his buggy and his backup buggy, and his new buggy wasn't done yet.
And then was like, well, now what?
Yeah, so he had to pick up this and used it for a while, so super excited about that. And then now that he has his new buggy, he has his backup, and he doesn't live that far from here. They're about 3 hours from the Perryville Mafia crew. So he brought it on down. And again, Cody, a heck of a wheel man, has just dominated our stock class this year.
Nicely done.
That's a 1:15.414.
And that is our fastest time
Wow.
on course 1 for our limited class.
Yeah, wow, that's again like very impressive time there. especially for first time ever being in a buggy, hopping in it, be like, yeah, you know what? I'll go put it on the podium. No big deal. Again, Cody, anybody who's watched this series for a while knows that Cody, and seen him in his stock machine, his stock machine is just brutal.
It is fun watching both of the Caissons out there dominating their respective UTV classes. That does complete Course 1 for the limited bouncers. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll come back with our UTV Teen class.
Heck yeah.
The Mickey Thompson Premium Mud Terrain is on the road and full of undisputed attitude. The Baja Boss MT. No compromises, ever. We are purpose-built tires for truck and Jeep enthusiasts everywhere. All mud tires are not created equal, and here's the proof. Powerfly XD construction, asymmetrical tread design, extreme side biters, and more. Find your tire size today at MickeyThompsonTires.com.
All right, guys, we're back. Let's take a quick look at our top 3 from Course 1 for limited bouncer. Cody Caisson had the fastest time with a 1:15, followed by Chris Clements with a 1:18, and then Justin Hoback with a 1:32. That means we are ready to move into our UTV teen/amateur class. And we've got a great list of young drivers for this class. This is another one of our classes that was new for this season. So this class and our limited bouncer were our new additions. I think they've been pretty popular. I would see us continuing that next season. But, you know, we'll see. We like to take the feedback that we get from the drivers and you know, just everybody that's involved with the sport, and just try and work that in whatever way we can.
And I think it's great. Again, to me, I look at it as like there's Major League Baseball, and then you have about 6 different levels of minor league baseball. You know, like the St. Louis Cardinals have, obviously, you know, that's their major league team. They have about 6 different levels, you know, single A, triple A, double A, and then there's about 3 levels underneath that of all minor league. And they use those as a harvest program as a way to bring players up and let them see some more major league style action before they actually bring them up to the major leagues. And I feel like this is a perfect class for that. You bring them in, you kind of get them a little taste, let them do some little harder courses. You get used to a little more horsepower. That way they don't have to go straight from that youth class all the way into a big, you know, race. And like you said, Wade Good and Nick, you know, those guys, Nick Reich, Wade Good out there just hammering it. You know, I would hate to sit in the side-by-side line up next to those guys and be like, okay, buddy, you know.
So this is, you mentioned aging out of the youth class. So our youth class is for 12 and under. So this class was born out of wanting a next step for those youth drivers that aged out, but like you said, weren't quite ready to just jump straight in with our other UTV classes. So this is for 17 and under, so 17 to 13, and it's been really great this season. These young drivers have been going all out, battling back and forth. And we also have one new young driver jumping in this weekend. I don't see anyone down there. I'll wait until she comes up. But
yeah, I'm excited. I like seeing our younger drivers. And again, I was Josie and Joe's. We were walking by this morning, and I was just dying laughing. I said, "Hey." I was yelling, me and my dad were sitting next to her, and I'm screaming, hey, don't pick on your brother today. And she said, I already told him I want to beat him. I was dying laughing.
Yes.
It was very nice.
We'll head to the line and see who's going to start things off for us now. But yeah, Josie and Jace Northington, brother and sister, have been battling back and forth. And okay, speaking of our new driver, this is Clara Hoback.
Ooh.
She's not new to the series. She's been racing in the youth class for several seasons now, 3 or 4, and decided that it's time to start thinking about stepping up to the teen class. She hasn't aged out yet, but, she's just been doing a great job and has a lot of experience from the youth class, and so is thinking about taking that next step and moving up to the teen class. So what we do here is we allow one trial race. So Clara is going to also still race in our youth class today, but this is her trial race where she can give it a try in the teen class, and is allowed to still race both classes for this one trial. So that's her dad Justin in there riding with her. That's the stock raiser. You saw him race yesterday. And she was down here last night doing some pre-running, getting used to it. I heard there was she had a little bit of fear to get over, because it's a big difference going from a 200 to a full-size razor.
1,000 cc, yeah.
Yeah, so and it looks like she's doing awesome right now.
Yes.
I think she's getting more comfortable every time. She actually drove me down here from the campground this morning. So every little bit of seat time helps, so she had a lot of people cheering her on last night. I heard too, encouraging. There may or may not have been some incentives placed on the line for her to go up the hill.
Is there Cracker Barrel on the line?
I don't know about that. It would probably be a Buc-ee's visit if anything.
Is there a chicken or a cat or some other type of?
She did get a kitten. She earned a kitten already once for an incentive, but she is also, I want to say, coming off of a win from an Ultra 4 race in Bowling Green last weekend. So she's branching out and doing great.
That's a 111.379. Miss Clara Holback. Yeah, she did. She raced at the LS Fest.
Yeah, so she is, just expanding her racing portfolio, and that's what we like to see out here. That's the whole point of the teen/amateur class.
Yeah, it was super neat to see her and her family there. Justin's wife, I thought was taking them all out to dinner and eating at some fancy restaurant while we were at Bowling Green. I was like, man, that's a fancy restaurant. Where's that in Bowling Green? I'd love to go eat there. And then I saw it was like some other country very far away.
Yes, Haley was off enjoying a vacation, and the kids were off enjoying some racing. So all good things for the Hoback family. But we've got Josie Northington out on the course now. Speaking of kind of that brother-sister rivalry we mentioned earlier, Josie came out partway through the season. Fiddler's Bend, Oklahoma was her first race with us. And she did an awesome job. You never know for somebody's first race what they're going to come out and do.
Yeah.
It can be very intimidating, especially for our younger drivers. And there's a crowd watching, and you're not super comfortable with the buggy, whatever, That was not the case for Josie. She came out and she hammered down, and it was so fun to watch. And she actually pulled off second place at our last race at Hawk Pride just a couple of weeks ago. And then brother Jace was third place. So that's why, Matt, you were mentioning, don't tease your brother too much.
Yeah, it was very cute.
But Josie is sitting fourth in points overall for the season right now. Like I said, she did come in partway through the season, but she's been doing a great job racking up those points. And she is through the finish line. Let's check that time.
Oh,
what a spectacular way to get through the finish line.
There's a rock right at the edge, and I seen Jay hit it in a bouncer earlier.
Well, she laid down an 8.7.346, a great time. Luckily, she was able to cross the finish line before that unfortunate rollover. We've got everyone to her now, checking on her, making sure she's doing all right. They're going to get her turned back over.
I said, looks like the buggy's okay. There may be some
I see a little plastic laying out there, so she might be running a little bit less weight now on the buggy. She took off some of those unnecessary plastic panels.
I like that.
Maybe a fender or two.
The minute that she flipped it back over, it fires it right back up. Like, that's good. You know, we got to go tease her brother and be like, hey, your sister wrecked it. She got a time that wrecked it just so you couldn't get a time.
And as always, we want to give a big thank you to our recovery staff and volunteers for being, for their commitment to the series and being here for us and being quick to always get to our drivers, keep everything moving smoothly and safely out here. You know, it takes a village to put on an event like this, and we definitely appreciate it. And safety, of course, is our number one aspect that we focus on out here. So appreciate everybody that helps with that. Let's check out the Amsoil action shot from Josie's big finish there. Oh, and it was right behind that bush. It was hard to get a good view. I'm turning around to see. I can't even find what she might have hit or anything, Matt.
That rock right on the inside of that finish line flag. Jay hit it with his bouncer, and I saw the rear end kind of donkey kick real big with Jay, and I thought, what a hit. Now, there's a little bit of a rock there, not much. But
I think it's hiding behind a little mound of dirt. So,
so you get right.
That's one of those that'll sneak up on you. Glad she made it through the finish line, though, and looks like everything was all right on the buggy. Sadie Ellison is on the line now. That's her big brother Cohen right there that was giving her a last-minute safety check and fist bump. She is heading into the SCS stone pile now.
And we've seen these stones. They actually moved the starting line up a little bit, so it started right at the stone pile. Because in previous years, you've seen guys race up to the stone pile, kind of maybe come through a little more hot and steamy than we've seen before. But they moved the starting right there. That way you kind of creep up to the rock pile, go through it, just because we've seen
not as much incentive to come blasting into the rock pile.
Yeah, we've seen some guys come in a little hot, steamy, and break stuff, especially the UTVs, ball joints, tie rod ends, axles, diffs, you know, some of the weaker links in the UTV class.
Everything can be a weak link if you hit a rock pile hard enough, Matt.
It really is. It really is.
Sadie's been doing an awesome job this season. This is her first full season to race in the teen class. First full season to race at all with us, I believe, and then she moved up to the teen class. This buggy also does double duty between her and brother Cohen. Cohen races in our UTV stock class. So I'm sure there's probably a little bit of bantering going on between that brother-sister duo as well.
Yeah, I'm sure that family does a lot of debating, let's say, between who's the better racer.
Sadie is coming into the weekend third in points overall for the season. And that was a great run.
That's a 93.280 for Sadie Ellison.
All right, now we've got Jace Northington on the line. Okay, Jace. Sister Josie's time was an 87. So, you know, no pressure, but
no pressure. With the rollover.
We're going to see which Northington has the fastest time again.
Yeah.
This is Jace's first year racing. He is not one of our youth drivers that graduated out. His first year racing with us. I believe Jace is 12 years old. Fun fact about him, he owns his own lawn care business. The Northingtons come out of Benton, Kentucky to race with us here.
He was down here pre-running last night, had this buggy. I mean, he was ripping this buggy last night. he was definitely getting it dialed in. Because a lot of times, with those, when you have multiple jumps on a short course, you want to know how hard is too hard to push some of these, because some of those jumps are big, some more shoot you out, where others are kind of more peaked and shoot you up in the air, which is not necessarily, Timmy will say that. He's like, if your tires aren't in the air, you're not going forward. That's not good. So, you want to come up racing up to that jump, but you also don't want to launch off of it either. And this short course is so much fun. Again, that's why I'm glad all of our classes get to race it, just because it is such an enjoyable time.
Jace making quick work of it. I guess it's going to be a pretty good run. Ooh. 86.673.
Wow.
1 second faster than Josie. And that is our current leader on Course 1 for our Super Grip UTV Teen class. Brantley Havens is on the line, and he is going to wrap up Course 1 for us today. Brantley is our current points leader with a 55-point lead ahead of Jace, who is our second place points right now. Brantley coming off a win at our last event at Hawk Pride. And Brantley also one of our maybe the first driver to, we'll say, graduate from our youth class, age out of the youth class. He did an awesome job racing for several seasons in the youth class, and aged out and did a couple of events in the stock class. He's also raced a bouncer once or twice now, and then with the teen class this season, he has been doing a great job. You guys can follow Brantley on Facebook at 2 Weeks Out Racing. And he would like to give a shout out to Rock Life Off-Road, Super Grip Tires, Simply Modified, Havens Plumbing, Cooper Custom Chopper, Old Cornfield, Tim Eisen at Custom Suspension, Dirty Nasty, Radioactive Design, Hypercoil, High Octane Films, and Mom and Dad.
Mom and Dad.
Can't forget that.
Yeah. Mr. Cowboy Hat himself.
Ooh.
86.177. Bree, is that fast enough for new fast time?
That is our fastest time on Course 1, just barely. Brantley Havens with that 86.1, edging out Jace Northington with that 86.6.
Dang. So close.
The tight racing continues in all of our classes. It's not just in the bouncers. Let's just go ahead and run through our top 5 here before we move on. So Brantley Havens had the fastest time with that 86.1. Then we had Jace Northington with the 86.6. Josie Northington with that 87. Sadie Ellison with 93. And Clara Hoback in her first time racing in the teen class with a 111. Everyone did an awesome job. Those were some really great runs from our teen class. Always exciting to see. And it's always fun to see how the times stay so
Incredible.
tight no matter which class we're racing. We are going to shut down and take a bit of a break. Taylor, how long are we going to be down for?
I think they were saying 12:30. I think they were saying we're going to try to go live with the youth at 12:30.
All right, so we're going to take about a 30-minute break. When we come back, we will have our youth class. If you're joining us on Power Sports World, we're not going to have the youth class airing on there, so you guys will have to go to Rock Racing TV if you want to watch that on the YouTube channel. But we will have our youth back on Rock Racing TV, and then after that, we'll be back with everybody else for Course 2 to run it all back again. So we'll see you guys in just about 30 minutes. Don't go too far, and we'll see you then.
We'll see you guys.